I sure hope you're ready to learn how to capitalize vowels, because in today's humble opinion, I'm going to show them what I've got in Mr. Shifty. Tired of walls ruining an otherwise perfect gaming session? Ever wish you could punch someone in the face from across the room, but find yourself grossed out by the notion of nightmarishly long arms? Have you ever had the need to express how impersonal your actions are to up to 5 kids at once? Then boy howdy do I have the game for you. Mr. Shifty is an action game stripped of all frills and tuned to perfection. There's no complex moving narrative overshadowing the gameplay, there's no clunky mechanics to overcome in order to play the game competently. Hell, there's not even the promise that anything you've come to understand about challenges thus far will be relevant from room to room. It's just you, your fist, your ability to teleport up to 5 times for the most part, and your ability to perceive when to do those things rapidly. Everything else is uncertain. Part of what makes Mr. Shifty so unbelievably fun is that it never forces any new mechanics onto the player. Sure, every now and again you may lose your ability to blink, or a handful of weapons may be scattered around at your disposal, but at its core your toolkit is set. 5 blinks, endless punches, and the occasional bullet time that saves your life if you manage to earn it. It's the kind of simplicity that lends itself to natural and intuitive decision making with controls that allow for you to respond quickly and fluidly. It's incredibly satisfying to play, whether you're punching brutes through walls, sticking them with landmines before popping away to safety, or spearing a cluster of people with a lightning bolt and pinning them to a wall. Because your toolkit is small and your actions are limited, you instead extend your consciousness to the world around you, dividing the map into areas of danger and areas of safety. And the developers are well aware of this. They've skillfully crafted every level to play on and invert your understanding of safety to ensure that every moment is filled with a succulent tenseness that turns your mastery of the game into a symphony. The environment around you, the fluid motif of transformation, and your movements and decisions in sharp, purposeful staccato as you flit around the stage, narrowly avoiding death at every moment. What evolves as the game progresses is not the demand the game places on you, but how it demands it. It starts toying with the idea as it has you revisiting areas that you've already fought through, the damage you've caused persistent so that the safety to danger ratio is not the same as it was when you first arrived. Not only that, but you tackle the map backwards, which makes it even more unfamiliar. Enemies remain largely the same, but gradually fill out their ranks with different sorts that have varied behaviors that require careful consideration. Eventually, placement means nothing as the walls themselves begin to shift and enemies and threats appear out of thin air. It makes for an elegant difficulty curve that consistently keeps the game fresh despite its simplicity. One challenge that stuck out to me and subtly tipped me off to the amount of thought that went into level design was a challenge that had you make your way down a narrow hallway while being unable to blink. Behind you was a laser moving steadily in your direction, and in front of you was a dead end. You had to punch through the wall, and not only did you have to punch through the wall, but the speed of the laser was so perfect that your breaking through offered you just enough time to escape before death. Everything is about danger, safety, and quickly presented puzzles that demand you use your limited toolkit to figure out how to get there. Another nuanced element that I have to praise is the way that it makes itself easier for you. Sometimes when a bullet gets dangerously close, time will slow to a crawl and allow you to move freely. The 2 ways to earn that safety net are to beat up enough goons quickly enough to fill your meter at the bottom of the screen, or by dying enough times that they start granting you a charge on death. While it's not abnormal to offer a handicap to players struggling through a difficult portion of your game, the elements involved with this one are so unbelievably well fleshed out. Firstly, you can still die from bullets if you run into them or stand still while time is moving slowly. Secondly, the window isn't incredibly long, so you can deal with up to 4 or 5 people, or you can get to safety, but rarely can you do both or much more. Thirdly, not all of the threats are bullets, and the ability does not activate for melee, explosion, or lasers, which means that they've successfully managed to ease the pressure of the game without making it feel patronizing, because what it offers simply isn't overpowered. But it also means that they've managed to control how effective it is at different points in the game, which means parts that were meant to be fun and empowering can be made even more fun and empowering, while making points that are meant to offer a difficult challenge that needs to be overcome with skill can be exactly that. I can't overstate how impressed I am by the direction and choices they've made in this game. Normally you can find Mr. Shifty on the Steam store for the price of $14.99, and you're probably thinking, oh, he just talked about how great Mr. Shifty was for the whole review, but I'm actually not going to say that the price feels right. While the gameplay itself is polished, there isn't a whole lot to it, and unless you're god-awful at the game and are dying an inordinate amount of time, it's only got a few hours worth of content and isn't the most replayable game in the world. I don't think the price should be slashed too much more, but even $12 feels more in line with the price that I'd be willing to pay personally. But maybe I've just grown spoiled. If you're even more spoiled than me, the lowest it's ever been on sale is $4.49, at which point you'd have actively lost net happiness in your life by not having gotten it. A pain that can never be recovered. While I can sit here and sing Mr. Shifty's praises all day long, it's not without a few issues, though none of them are too terribly noticeable. It crashes on occasion, some enemies have appeared on me without visible smoke effects like the others, and there have been some graphical issues with dead enemies. None of these have really ruined my experience, however. Beyond that, while there are a few sections that I personally found frustrating, everything is extremely well paced and balanced, with a tangible challenge and tremendous fun. For these reasons, I would say that Mr. Shifty has earned a 9.5 out of 10. If you don't yet own Mr. Shifty or haven't played it, I would definitely recommend at least looking into it. Seriously, there were several, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, points in the game. Pure childlike enjoyment. It really hits all of the right notes. Thank you everyone for watching, and a special thanks to Team Shifty for absolutely knocking this one out of the park. They did an excellent job and completely blew other games like it out of the water. If you enjoyed the review, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video around. And feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments below. And until next time, remember that failure is not the worst case scenario, to glow on with your bad selves and stay awesome.